Welcome, acolytes. Today, I'm reacting to Ref's The Palworld Backlash is crazy. So, what is the backlash? If I may just have a guess, I guess a few psychos on Twitter just think that Palworld is bad. Because let's be honest, there are a lot of negative people on Twitter that actually think that everything, every single thing that you ever do is negative for some effed up reason. I don't know why. I don't care why. It is what it is. So let's see what the man himself, Ref, has to say about it. Because, well, I'm actually quite interested in that. And yeah, and by the way, yes, you can see I myself am playing exactly the game that it is about. Why? Because who can resist this little thing? Who can resist it? Look at this. This is basically just Pokemon with freaking, but different, but with guns, but punching, and even eating those little things and slaughtering them. Why would I resist this? This is pure beauty. But let's start. Wait,
So today we're going to take some time and talk about Palworld, or better known as Pokemon with Guns. Now, this recently released survival game has been all of the rage. Everyone's talking about this. It is an amalgamation taking many different elements from many different franchises, and to the surprise of many, it actually turns out to be pretty entertaining. A lot of people are really enjoying this game, and the proof is in the numbers. Okay, earlier today, Palworld achieved the highest concurrent player count of any paid game in Steam history with a...
Whoa! That's actually surprising. I mean, I knew it's a good game, but what actual... You know. Damn! This I didn't expect for my life, no. But I'm gonna be honest, it's good. And you know why? Because it's a good game. You actually, what you have here is actually someone who gives a shit. Who actually tries to do something good. And this is something we all should like and be positive about. Even if you don't like it, that's relevant. But it's something to be positive about, in my personal little opinion.
Concurrent player count of over 1 million. Obviously a big deal. In fact, this game has sold over 4 million copies in only about 3 days. This game is one of those chosen titles that seemingly popped up out of nowhere. It became the trend, where everyone is playing it, everyone is streaming it, and a lot of people are, in fact, enjoying it. A lot of people are saying it's not just a Pokemon knockoff, it's an upgrade. But of course, with a lot of recent attention on a game blowing up.
And let's just stomp it right here. It is a Pokemon knockoff. But, if I'm honest, I don't care if it's a Pokemon knockoff. You know why? Because I only care if it's a good Pokemon knockoff. And why would I say it? Because F you, that's why. Oh, this is pretty. Oh, this is beautiful. Okay, I'm doing this. Come on. Yeah. Come on. I want this one. And yeah, it's just why would I care about it? It's such a nice little relaxing game. I'm not gonna freaking cry about it that it's a freaking Pokemon knockoff, or let's just say it's inspired by Pokemon, because let's be honest, it is inspired by Pokemon, and it's fantastic. It's a really nice thing, and why would you as a person actually just try to destroy it if people like it? Just because you're miserable? Yeah, because that's it. Well, okay, let's just go.
Often comes controversy, and that's what we have today. So there's a lot of things being launched at this game. A lot of people are accusing Palworld of straight up plagiarizing titles like Pokemon, and that they might face a lawsuit from Nintendo, but they're also accusing Palworld of using generative AI tools.
No. It's not a knockoff. And I'm gonna tell you the difference. Because it's simple. It is definitively inspired by Pokemon. Definitively. It is definitively somewhat... It has some ideas of Pokemon. I mean, look, I'm throwing freaking Pell balls to actually capture something. Of course there is inspiration there. Of course it's a slight knockoff. Of course. But F off. It's a good one. It's a really good one. And nobody gets hurt by it.
For its content. Now, those are some serious accusations, but they are nowhere near as serious as what we're going to look at now. And that's an accusation of animal cruelty. Yes, this is a real article, ladies and gentlemen. This is an unhinged response to the content featured in Palworld. Now, we're going to look at this article for two reasons. Number one, it's worth some laughs. And number two, it serves as a nice little format for all of the things that people are currently discussing in regards to Palworld. So let's start off with the intro to this article and get the laughs out of the way. It says, Palworld could be a delight if it wasn't so invested in being awful. Shockingly, animal cruelty doesn't make for a fulfilling experience. What's their next article going to be? GTA was going to be a delight if it wasn't for the crimes being committed within the game. But yeah, that's their intro. Let's read some of the paragraphs here. It says, let me put it this way. Watching that first Palworld trailer from 2021 was like seeing a picture of Bugs Bunny smoking weed and half ironically thinking it's sick. Actually playing Palworld is like having to hang out for hours with someone who's made Bugs Bunny smoking weed their whole deal. It's overcommitting to the bit, except the bit in this case is, well, abusive labor conditions and animal cruelty. And not only is the bit bad, it's actively making the rest of the game worse. Now, from seeing all the gameplay, it's not all reduced down to animal cruelty and things like that. And I will remind this person, these characters, these creatures, are not real. In fact, if you want to get more concerned, you can apparently, according to some players, you can actually enslave other humans in the game. So, worry about that before you start worrying about the pals in the game. But I think this claim that this game is completely unenjoyable is countered by the level of enthusiasm that's being publicly shown for this game. I mean, the view count and the player count speaks for itself, but also even people who are having concerns about other elements like the plagiarism concerns and things like that, a lot of them can still admit it's an interesting game. It's definitely something that is different, something that a lot of people have been looking for with a Pokemon-style game. But going on in their article here, they hit kind of the main concern that people are launching. So it says, first, the big question, is Palworld just Pokemon with guns? It's certainly doing its best to look the part. If I open up my Pokedex, Pal Deck, and scrolling through the pals I've captured in Pokeballs, Pal Spheres, I'm mostly left impressed by the hubris of Palworld's Japanese developer imitating the Pokemon style so closely when it's in the center of Nintendo's lawsuit kill radius. So there's those concerns about plagiarism as well as a lawsuit from Nintendo, and this is something we're seeing raised a lot on Twitter currently, where people are doing side-by-side comparisons of the characters from Pokemon and Palworld. Now, before I get into more discussion here, subjectively, my opinion, I think this Palworld version is an upgrade. That's just me. But here's the thing. People are saying...
Yes. I just wanted to say exactly the same thing. Palworld has just better freaking models. It looks way better. Yes, that's exactly it. It's not even a freaking thing. Like, you can look at it and just say objectively, yes, this is what it is. It just looks straight out better. It is straight out better for, well, maybe not directly for some people, because not everybody likes guns and shooting and doing things like that. It's definitively something that maybe to some degree a part of your taste, how you see it. But come on, like, it looks better. Just compare the two. It looks just better. It is better. The gameplay is way more active. And I assume nobody can actually decline that the gameplay is way more active than in Pokemon. You might not like it. That's a different story. But it is just a way more active version with this stuff. And I mean, yeah, just look at this. This looks freaking awesome. Yeah, come on, don't be a dick about it. Come on. Yeah, come on.
That this is something that is a carbon copy, a complete carbon copy, and people are saying this is an act of plagiarism and they are stealing from Pokemon. Now, let's ask a few questions. Is this character heavily referenced from Pokemon? Yes. Is this character model probably pretty lazy? Yes. Is it a carbon copy? No. Is it stolen? No. And that's something that needs to be actually proven before someone like Nintendo is going to go off and try to take this game down and sue Palworld and its developers. And we've actually seen some lawyers give their opinions on this. So let's see what they had to say. Anyone can sue anyone for any reason, so I can't tell you what Nintendo will or won't do about Palworld. I can tell you, however, that they'd have a tough time winning any infringement claim that isn't arguing a direct design copy. They go on to say, the game itself is a Minecraft, Zelda, Monster Hunter mashup, unlike anything Pokemon has put forth, so there's no winning there. The PAL designs have elements that are similar to Pokemon, but even though they fly a bit close to the sun, for my taste, that's a really hard case to win. Nintendo would be better served seeing what elements of the game might fit its own brand. And I think that last part is something that should be the main takeaway for Nintendo and Game Freak, to look at this situation and see what players are liking with Palworld, and those things probably reflect what's lacking for their own titles.
Yes.
But going off of what's said here, the game
and this is a very nice explanation about it. Because yes, the thing is, if you're a Pokemon fan, I don't care. I'm happy for you that you actually enjoy it. Maybe you just enjoy a less violent version of it. And that's totally fine. But at the end of the day, it is what it is, mate. At the end of the day, if you have fun, you have fun. But if I have fun with my violent Pokemon game, let me have fun with my violent Pokemon game, please. Because it's fucking awesome. And it is awesome. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so I need to destroy the last one. Good.
Is definitely something that is different. When you think about Palworld, you're not just thinking about Pokemon, you're thinking about Pokemon with what? Pokemon with guns. A violent theme. The entire game is circling around violent themes. That is something that is not found in Game Freak Pokemon titles. Violence is something that really separates it, just like the other elements incorporated for other games like this that are listed, that are making Palworld more diverse in terms of its content and something that's more complex than just a Pokemon carbon copy. And down here, talking about the PAL designs, we already talked about the fact that they are not complete rip-offs, 100% stolen, that they have some variation to them, and that they are just heavily referenced. And moving on, a lot of people began to talk about the idea of Nintendo getting involved, and also these AI concerns, but we'll get into that next. If Nintendo gets involved, here's the thing. A lot of people have cited that Nintendo has been very aggressive in taking down a lot of fan games based on their IP, but that's different than what's going on with Palworld. Those fan-made games are essentially trying to be Pokemon 2.0. Their identity is very heavily associated with everything that Pokemon is supposed to be. Palworld is going way beyond just that. You're just seeing the designs of these similar-looking Pals or Pokemon, whatever you want to call them, but there's much more to it. Now, this AI concern is something that I think is really a topic that needs to be explored a lot more before people are making definitive claims. Now, I'm not saying that it might not turn out that there's AI components of Palworld, but the proof that currently exists is very flimsy at best. I've seen a lot of threads citing the evidence that there's AI in this game, and I think this particular tweet and screenshot, it just shows how lacking a lot of these pieces of evidence are. Their evidence isn't, oh, here's a piece of AI in the game. Their evidence is that the developers of Palworld are familiar with and seem enthusiastic about AI and its possibilities. I mean, here's an example people are actually using as evidence, where one of the developers uses these screenshots to say, wow, some of these Pokemon are indistinguishable from AI counterparts. And all they're doing here, this isn't their own creation. They are citing something that was done by a BuzzFeed engineer. This wasn't even their own creation. This was just something that someone else created, and they were commenting saying, wow, the AI is tough to tell between their designs and the actual Pokemon. Now, moving forward, why do a lot of people have no issue with even the possibility of AI being there or a concern of it? Well, a lot of people just don't feel bad for Nintendo because they're angry at Game Freak and the lack of high quality content in games that they expect out of a company like that. It has been a very bad PR time for Game Freak for many years because people have felt very underwhelmed by their Pokemon releases, and people just don't feel sorry for Nintendo and Game Freak. They actually are reveling in the fact that a game is using aspects of their own franchise and pushing way beyond any...
Yes, and you know what? They should be. They should. Why am I saying this? Because F it. You should be happy about that. And it's simple because the Game Freak and Nintendo actually need some effing, like someone that can stand up to them and just say, well, we're here, we are a danger, and we might just get a bit of your money. And this is why I personally think that it's a very, very good thing if you do that. Extraordinary good thing, to be honest. And it should be that way, that Game Freak actually does get a bit scared about it. And they think about the future of their product and how they can actually do something better about their product. And I'm gonna repeat it, it's a very good thing that they think about it like that. Extraordinarily good, in my opinion at least. I may be wrong about that, but I doubt it. Because at the end of the day, if you actually if you nip someone in the ass so they can just get up, do what they have to do, and make something better for you, then you nip somebody in the ass and do it. So they can do better than they actually did. And Nintendo, as good and fine as they are, got lazy. They really got lazy. Especially with Pokemon. So I think that's a very, very nice thing if they just do what they do and just get their stuff together and just do better. And it's good for us, by the way. It's good for the people that actually like their games, that actually love their games and just want to play them. It's a very good thing because they will bring better quality freaking stuff out just because of that. Because if they don't evolve at this point, they will die out. And I find it good. I find it extremely good.
Expectations that people had, and they just don't feel sorry. And I'm going to hit you guys with the cold splash of water here. I'm just going to be honest. I think a lot of players, even if you told them that there was AI components of Palworld, I don't think a lot of players would care. Now, don't kill the messenger. Don't get mad at me. You're completely valid in being concerned or offended by something like that. If you think AI existing in that game is a deal breaker, good for you. I understand. But I think a lot of players don't care. If they're having a fun time playing a game, they will look beyond things like that. Again, if you're upset about that, don't get mad at me. Get mad at the people who will continue playing games after making discoveries like that. That's just the honest truth. And a lot of players who are currently enjoying Palworld, they're not on places like Twitter. They don't probably have any interest in AI. They have no idea what's going on. That's just the reality of the situation. And again, don't kill the messenger. I'm just saying these are things to pay attention to. But the article would go on, actually criticizing some aspects of the gameplay, further saying, it's a fun set of factors to juggle. Problem is, that juggling act turns into a slog, just so the game can deliver a bad punchline. Palworld really isn't really asking, what if Pokemon had guns? Palworld is asking, what if you could mangle Pokemon beneath the inevitable crushing weights of industry? It's not tongue-in-cheek.
You know what? This is the effing PETA argument. I'm just gonna say it as it is. It's just the PETA argument again. Just, this is fine. Yes, it is. But who the F cares? Those aren't real animals. Those are NPCs. They don't exist, mates. And yes, even in a real world, we slaughter animals to eat some. It is what it is. We do what we have to do to survive. And it's nothing different here. It is what it is. You do what you have to do to survive. And it's fine. In my opinion, if you, as I meat eater myself, if you have to, because we must eat meat, it is what it is. It's a thing that human beings just have to do. But if you have to do it, you don't have to necessarily, how's it called? Make them suffer. Just don't make them suffer, and just do what you have to do and end it as quick as possible. But don't be a bitch about it like, well, this guy, and just, well, yeah, correct. Just be as it is.
Cheek. It's mid-2000 Newgrounds Edgelord. Ooh, Edgelord. Yeah, I got news for you. People enjoy going around and killing the pals and putting them to work and putting them in breeding factories and making them do certain tasks and all these things. People enjoy this. I mean, it's not much different than a lot of other games. And honestly, if you have an issue with this sort of stuff, maybe this game just isn't for you. But here's some more. They go on saying, the crafting and survival in Palworld is only interesting when it's driving me to make decisions on how I deploy my pals, the things we just mentioned. But instead of doubling down on what sets it apart, Palworld draws out its progression just so I can terrorize my pals for a shortcut. Maybe that's funny for somebody. I don't know, man. I aged out of shock humor a decade or two ago. Look how mature I am, ladies and gentlemen. Me, an adult who writes reviews for a video game, is clearly much more mature.
Yes, a guy who writes this stuff on Twitter. This is the effing mature one. Just let it in for a second. Just let it in. Make a nice long breather and tell me. Do you give a fuck? Do you honestly give a fuck about it? Is this something that your life is around? And I mean, I'm doing it because I find it interesting. Of course. If you find it interesting, that's another thing. In my opinion, that's a different story, because, you know, if it's interesting, what people say, it is interesting. But this effing negativity every time. Damn, that's just, I don't know, it's, why am I watching is because it's actually quite funny to me. It's funny to see how people can actually be as invested in something like this. Ooh. But at the end of the day, it's still the long long time question I have, why? Why would you do this?
Sure, than the enjoyers of games like Palworld, but this chaotic nature of dealing with the pals and how you incorporate them and how you use them for your own benefit in-game is actually something a lot of people are enjoying. There's the multi-stages of this game. You can enjoy the multiplayer, you can enjoy the open world aspects, the pal aspects, or how you deploy them, the building aspects of this game. And there's little things like this, you know, if some pals fit the mold of what you're doing, some don't. Like this one right here is a hard-working pal. And some people have pointed out, you know, sometimes you got to make sacrifices. Like this pal, you know, has a aggressive mating desire and is a threat to a lot of pals and humans. But damn it, it's a hard worker, and you got to make sacrifices sometimes if you want results on your building, okay? But in all seriousness, this whole situation with Palworld has been quite interesting to see. The hysteria from some people, it comes from a valid place, but I think people are grasping at straws and trying to find a reason to hate this recently popular game. And right now, a lot of people are enjoying it. Will this game survive the initial hype and then possible drop-off? Who knows? But right now, this game is selling like crazy on levels we really haven't seen from independent titles ever. And where it lands will be very, very interesting. But for now, a lot of people are enjoying, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video covering it. Please share all of your thoughts about the topics we covered today, and I'll see you guys next time.
Well, it is what it is, acolytes. Go to the comments and say what you think about it, because I think it's pretty interesting. It's nice.